Good morning. So today I am coming to you from South Carolina. Just got a new place out here and working on a new studio. Gonna be a little while, but when it's done, it's gonna be awesome. Super excited about that. I'll kind of show you a little preview of it here. Right now we are in that time of year where not a whole lot of things to hunt. Season's kind of over. Any kind of other food you're raising, cattle and stuff, are kind of in just a summer routine. They're putting on some weight, but not really time for butchering. It's kind of a lull time. Great time to do some fishing, things like that. However, we're getting closer. Hunting season is just around the corner. It might not seem like it right now, but we really are not far off. Draw results are out. We have an idea of what hunts we're gonna do this fall. Everything's starting to come together, but we're not fully focused on hunting yet. Really, right now is the time to start planning, and it is the time to start getting physically ready for your hunt, things like that. On the planning part, I wanna talk about using guides. So if you are gonna use a guide, right now you know the hunts that you've been drawn for, or you know the hunts that you wanna go do. This is the time you want to start booking. Guides are gonna fill up fast. The outfitters are gonna be full. You might have already missed your window, but it's time to start looking at it. So the first thing to start to understand is the difference between a guide and an outfitting service. When you start looking around for booking somebody, you're looking for an outfitter. An outfitter is the business. The outfitter has their licensing, all the stuff that they need to sell you a hunt. A guide typically works for an outfitter. When you're looking to shop somebody, you're looking at outfitters. Once you pick an outfitter, you can look at that outfitter's stuff and see what kind of guides work for them. I think this is super important. The outfitter's not going to be out there in the field with you most of the time. The outfitter is going to be the person who has the leases, the properties. The outfitter is going to be the person who has the contracts through the national forest. Normally, and a lot of the time, the guides are going to be the ones out in the field with you. These are going to be the people that you're spending all day around. These are the people you want to at least kind of look through their social media, look through their stuff, and decide if you think you'll be able to enjoy hanging out with this person. We're all different. We all enjoy being around different kind of people. There's a ton of different guides out there. Finding one that you think you'll mesh with is so important. Do you need to hire somebody to help you with this hunt? Now, this is, again, it's a personal decision. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things involved in this. One is the cost. You're gonna spend some money to hire an outfitter. That's just how it is. They gotta make a living, you gotta make a living. There's a reason that they're paid well. The other side of that is the cost of not using an outfitter. Just for example, if this is your first year or two of getting into big game hunting, and maybe you drew an elk tag in Arizona, or you drew a dream hunt somewhere, the amount of gear that you're gonna need for that hunt is absolutely mind-blowing. It's gonna overwhelm you. You're gonna be in panic, and financially it is gonna stress you. If your focus is on elk hunting, you really want to become an elk hunter, and you're putting it in Arizona, you're probably gonna get drawn maybe once every 5 years is a good average. I haven't looked at the actual statistics, but in my mind that seems pretty fair, depending on if you're putting in for trophy units, some of the easier units, archery rifle, whatever it is. So let's say even 1 out of 3 years you draw. You're gonna need all your specialized tents, your cooking gear, your camping gear, everything to go into this hunt. And maybe you already have been into camping, so you have some camping gear. Well, now you also are gonna need all the specialized backpacks, the specialized spotting scopes, the special binocular. Like, it's gonna take so much just for that hunt. And then it's gonna sit in your garage for a few years, and you're gonna use it 3 years down the road. And maybe you plan on hunting 1 week a year, 2 weeks a year, 3 weeks a year. If that's all you're gonna hunt, you wanna make that time absolutely amazing. So let's just think about this like logistically and from a common sense perspective. So if you have to spend the money already and you had to get time off work, you have to do all this stuff, you might as well make this as good as it can get. If you can walk out in your backyard and shoot deer or bears or whatever it is, and you can shoot them from your porch, great. This conversation isn't about that. This is about the normal hunter who hunts 3 weeks a year. They want a really cool trip. They save up for it. They plan for it. They're excited. To me, the value add of paying the money to have an outfitter that's going to do all the stuff you don't want to do. I don't care who you are. Setting up the camps and the stoves, buying all the food, doing these things is not the fun part. Thinking about it and planning it, what you're going to do with your outfitter anyways, you can get a hold of them. You can, hey, you know, I prefer these kind of meals. I like this. What kind of, you know, there's some steps that you're going to do in the planning phase that's enjoyable. But the actual work of getting out there, setting up wall tents, doing this kind of stuff, let's skip that and use the small, tiny window of time that you have to make a hunt as good as possible. I'm pretty fortunate. I end up spending a lot of time throughout the year either hunting or fishing. If it's any kind of hunt out of my norm, I'm gonna hire an outfitter. If I'm already spending a lot of money to go do something, spending a little bit more money to make it better just makes sense to me. Is hiring a guide gonna guarantee you kill something? No, it's absolutely not. Hiring an outfitter or a guide is gonna help your chances. It's gonna put you in better situations. There's more eyes in the field. There's more boots on the ground trying to find these animals. But in the end, you're hunting. If you hire an outfitter that works some of the high fence private ranches, I think a lot of those do offer a 100% success guarantee. That's awesome. If you only have 3 days in the whole year that you can hunt and you really want to hunt an elk, awesome. Pay the money, go to a high fence somewhere and get the most you can out of those 3 days. Because if you just go out in the field for 3 days and try and kill an elk or a deer, you're not going to. You might stumble across one on accident, but for the most part, you're not going to be successful. If you have 5 days for the whole year that you're able to get out there and hunt, and you try and just go out there and DIY it by yourself and go spend those 5 days, you're probably not gonna kill anything. It's gonna take you, on average, I'm gonna say to kill probably 30 to 40 days in the field on average to actually get to kill one. Now, if you've hired an outfitter, he's got 4 or 5 guides out there that are all scouting, they're all checking areas. That's gonna cut that days way down. Now, they've done a lot of that extra work for you, and you're gonna get in there. If you only have 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days out of the year that you can get vacation time, you can be out in the woods away from family, hire an outfitter to help you. It's gonna change everything. It doesn't matter how you do it. If you're going hunting for 7 days, you're spending a lot of money. That's just how it is. So might as well spend a little bit more, and a lot sucks either way. So you might as well spend a little bit more and have somebody help you. There's all different levels of outfitters, guides, things like that for different type of hunts, different budgets. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it's in there. In the end, it's gonna be worth it, because now on that small window of time that you have to enjoy yourself, you're enjoying yourself rather than being out there doing all the parts that you didn't wanna do. I would never own a pack of hounds. I couldn't come close to the care and the training and the exercise needed to have good hound dogs. So instead, for the small guide fee, I can hire somebody like Paul and Cody. These two are absolutely unbelievable houndsmen. They spend all year working their dogs, exercising their dogs, training their dogs, breeding their dogs. This is their life, is those dogs. They know everything about them. They can tell which dog is barking from 4 miles away. They know which dog it is, why it's barking, if it's treed trash, this dog is more focused on lions, this dog is better at running bears. The amount of stuff that they know, I could never learn. But I absolutely love going with them. So for the small fee that they charge for all that work that they put into training those dogs and learning those dogs and caring for those dogs, I get to do all the fun part, and I get to go with them for 5, 6, 7 days a year, whatever it ends up being, and have this experience that, to me, there's nothing else like it. And at the end of the day, when they're dealing with all the other stuff like puppies and feeding and housing, I saved money. I couldn't do that for that many days for the same amount of money. Another style that I've been working on is spot and stalk bear hunting. I've done some spring and some Not so much in the fall, because fall we can run dogs, but I did do it in the fall last year in Alaska. So the way I've been doing these spot and stalk bear hunts, because spot and stalk bear hunting is hard. Like, I don't even know the first part. And I've gotten to hunt in some unbelievable ways. I've flown into Alaska and hunted out of, the lodge was owned by Bushwhack Adventures, and this place is beautiful, and they fly you in over the glaciers. Like, it's the whole experience. There's grizzly bears everywhere, you're on the rivers, like, it was mind-blowing. This year I did one in Idaho where we flew in on like a small bush plane again. They flew us into a wilderness area, dropped us off with our packs, and we backpack hunted for 5 days in the wilderness area. Again, just absolutely unbelievable. There's no way I could have DIY'd either of these hunts. It just, the logistics of being able to get there don't make any sense to try and DIY it. Like, if you're gonna go do this, it needs to be through somebody who does it regularly. They have all the connections, they have all the gear, they have all the stuff. It makes it amazing. And I've been doing these with Pursuit with Cliff online master classes. So Cliff has put together this package where you pay for some sort of online learning class, whatever your species or animal that you want to start to learn about. Bears, obviously, for me, but I know he has like elk. I don't know what else. You'll have to look on the website. The bear hunts, we've done them 2 different ways with them. I did the first one was in Alaska, and we went up there. Alaska has very long days, so it gets light very early and it stays light till like midnight. We would wake up, have our breakfast and coffee at the lodge, and then do 2 to 3 hours of kind of classroom stuff. I call it classroom, but it's talking about spotting, it's different glass. We're trying out all these different brands. We're able to put 5 different brands of binoculars in our hands, try them out. From the lodge, we can see a lot, so we can talk about like grid patterns, and so we're learning for the first few hours of the day. Then take a little break, load up all of our gear into the boats or the trucks or the UTV, whatever we're doing, head out and go put all those things that we just learned about to use. It's such a target-rich environment up there that you're gonna see bears, like grizzly bears, black bears, you're gonna see them. So you really get to use the stuff that you've learned about. Being able to hear it, see it, be involved in it, and then go out, put it to use, come back in, talk about it at night, sleep on it, wake up the next morning and do it again. I learned so much in that hunt. I was beyond thankful. The amount of money that I paid for the entire thing, the hunt, the class, everything, I would have spent that money just for the plane ride in over the glaciers. Like, it was unbelievable. I would have spent that money to stay in the lodge for 5 days, even if I didn't get to hunt. But the package deal, because there's a group of people, they're able to work these deals, and it was absolutely unbelievable. I loved that trip. As soon as we got back, I was like, well, whatever the next bear one is, I'm booking that. So the next schedule came out for this year for 25. As soon as it came out, there was 2 different bear hunts. I immediately signed up for one of them. I'm not a big camper. Camping is not really something that I love. I'll do it if I have to, but you'll never see me go camping just to go camping. Like, there's gonna be a reason. Backpack camping was something I never even considered. The fact that this hunt was a backpack hunt in the mountains in Idaho, right up against the snow lines, but the fact that this was so far out of my comfort zone and I was gonna be with some of the best there is, some of the best there is at bear hunting, some of the best there is at the mountains, some of the best backwoods guides that Cliff puts into these hunts. These guys like Cade, or the amount of knowledge, so I was like, yeah, I have to do it. I have to see if I can, I have to try it out. Again, just absolutely blew away my expectations. You stay in Montana in a small town the night before, you meet at this little private airport, they fly you out there in this little bush plane, you're flying through the wilderness area. Now this class was a little different in the setup. This class we had like 2 months before the hunt. There was a bunch of online stuff and Zoom calls, things like that. So we did a lot of the work before and a lot of the learning before the hunt. Then once we got there, it was kind of quick recaps of the stuff that we had learned while we're in the field. The way we did it in Idaho might have been a little better, only because for me, when I was in Alaska and we wake up and we got a couple hours of of learning and going over stuff, I'm looking out there at those mountains and I know there's a bear out there, and all I can think about is I just want to go out there, I want to find the bear, I want to kill the bear. It was hard for me to focus. So when I had a couple months leading up to it, I was able to learn the information, take it in at my pace and kind of retain it, and then recap it while I'm out there thinking, I know there's a bear, I want to kill it. Both were great. I learned a ton, and for the logistics that go into this, the cost was just unbelievably low. So if somebody told me that they want to get into hunting, they want to learn to hunt, they want to get into hunting pretty heavily, they want to really learn how to hunt, that's what I would recommend for them, hands down, is one of these Pursuit with Cliff masterclasses, because you're going to get to hunt, but you're going to learn a ton. Now, if you're just going out with an outfitter, you're going to learn some stuff. Anytime you're around people like that, you're going to learn. You can't not learn. But their focus is killing you an animal. It's not teaching you everything they know. Also great, these are just some little nuances. A little bit more experienced hunter, I would tell them hire an outfitter probably, but the Pursuit with Cliff ones are awesome even with experience. The third style of outfitting that I do, there's a lot of people online that shit on this, and I really don't care what they have to say because there's people online that shit on everything. Once a year, I go do a high fence bison hunt. It's so fun. I go with usually my dad, and then I've gone with my brother-in-law and his son. It's a super fun hunt. Going out and doing a high fence hunt is not gonna make you a great hunter, but it actually can teach you a lot of things. For one, you're gonna kill an animal. Now, when you first start hunting, you might be 5 years before you finally kill an animal. And when you do, all of a sudden you realize you've never seen an animal butchered, you've never seen it processed, you've never had your hands involved in quartering something to where it's a movable weight. Like, you've never done any of this. You have no idea how to skin other than what you saw on YouTube. When you go on a high fence hunt, you're gonna see all that. Whether you choose to help or not, I always do because I enjoy it. You don't have to, they'll do it all for you if you want, but it's cool to do. It's cool to get that experience. It's also, I do the bison hunt because don't buy a lot of meat in the store typically. So if I kill a bison in February, that meat will last my wife and I for 6-7 months. We get a good amount of meat out of it. I'm shooting the young meat bison. It's the least expensive hunt. They're not huge. I think on average, we bring home about 400 pounds of meat. So that'll last us 6 months. Now, is it the same as going backpack hunting in a wilderness area? Not at all. Totally different. But that's irrelevant. It's a different thing. This one is for meat and because it's fun. A good amount of my food comes from spearfishing. To catch a 5-pound rainbow runner or a couple pound fish that I'm gonna get, we'll say 1.5 pounds, maybe one meal off one of these fish, I'm literally fist fighting sharks that are trying to take the fish from me, and I'm swimming for hours, about drowned, I don't know how many times, diving down to get one meal. I'm not afraid to work hard for food. I'm not afraid to do the hard hunts, but I do enough of those. Sometimes I just want to go have fun. If somebody says, I want to try out hunting, I just want to see what it's about. I want to get the whole experience. I want to see if I like hunting. That's where I'm going to tell them do a high fence. For pig or for bison, something like that, you're going to get the whole experience wrapped up in a little fun-sized package. You're going to be 2-3 days hunting for a couple of those and then traveling, and you're gonna get to see the whole thing from start to finish. DIY guys, when you're starting out and you first get into hunting, it could be 5 years before you ever get to see the whole process of planning the hunt, executing the hunt, killing the animal, butchering the animal, bringing home the meat to eat. So rather than spending 5 years of stumbling around in the woods to finally get a shot, the buck fever didn't kick in this time and you actually killed the animal, and then realize you have no idea how to process it, you wasted most of your meat and learned that maybe this just isn't for you and you don't even like it. Now you've just spent 5 years to get to that point. Where if you book a high fence hunt on one of these game ranches, you're gonna get all that in 3 days. You're doing the whole thing. Now, you're not doing a 5-day hike into the wilderness, who cares? That comes later. When you post on it on Instagram, people are gonna talk shit. Oh, that's a high fence. Shut up. Who cares? I am super proud of every bison I've shot in a high fence. I don't care what people say about it. So I got to have fun, spend some time with family, laughing, joking, staying in a nice little lodge, and I have meat. Those are kind of the 3 different styles of outfitted hunts that I personally do. It's either going to be the hound hunting, one of these Masterclass hunts, or a high fence hunt. Now I spend a ton of days out there just DIY hunting, whether it's bears on a random day off, or I hunt a lot of pigs, deer hunting. I'll just kind of do it as I go. It's not that important to me. I get a lot of those days in, but if it's a hunt that I take serious at all, I'm gonna use one of those outfitters and do that style of hunt. I drew a trophy bull elk unit in Arizona last year or the year before. I didn't hire an outfitter because I didn't care about shooting a trophy bull elk. I just wanted to fill my freezer, and I was out of bear tags. So I shot the elk. But I had paid an outfitter for every day of bear hunting that year. I just didn't care about having one for the elk hunt. So you have to decide which hunts you want this on and which you don't. 3 main people that I use. It's Cody and Paul with P&J Hunts out of Arizona. These are the most amazing houndsmen, but they are so much fun to hang out with around camp. I've laughed as much with these guys as anybody else. We're on the phone together all the time. I call and joke with these guys constantly. Now, I still pay them their exact normal price. I would never ask an outfitter or guide for a discount. The work that they do and the price that they're selling it for is way below what it could be, and I respect that. The Pursuit with Cliff stuff, Cliff has become a friend at this point. His guides have become friends at this point. I love hanging out with these guys. It's super cool. But again, I would never even dream of trying to take a discount on one of these hunts. The value is so good to me that I'm paying whatever it is they tell me it costs. For the high fence hunts, I use Severson Outfitters, and it's Pete. They're in Colburn, Colorado. They have a great buffalo herd. They're awesome people. They're cooking your meals for you. You're eating with them. It's really cool to become friends with these people in a way that you look forward to hanging out with them as much as you look forward to the hunt. In my normal life, when I'm not hunting, I'm usually trying to avoid people, but to go out on these and get to know the guides and the people, it's a lot of fun. It's a super cool thing. They're very enjoyable to be around, but also they're so amazing at what they do that you're just in awe the whole time of every conversation. You're taking little bits out of it and getting better and better. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to say. I just kind of wanted to talk through this stuff and add my perspective and my experiences into your decision for whether you're going to use a guide this year or not. I really hope this helps you guys decide, and either way, enjoy the year, enjoy the hunts. I'll talk to you soon.